A few days ago, Disney announced an exciting new chapter in the 2016 fan-favorite animated movie Moana. The announcement? That it was getting a live-action remake. Less than 10 years after being released, we were still squarely in the sequel territory. So, why are we getting a live-action remake instead? Why are we getting all of these live-action remakes at all? The first live-action Disney remake was technically in 1994, with The Jungle Book. They tried again with the Glenn Close-led 101 and 102 Dalmatians, but none of these did very well critically or commercially. In 2010, though, Disney finally made a movie that could use a live-action take with Alice in Wonderland. It actually did pretty well, and so the floodgates opened. Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, The Jungle Book again, Beauty and the Beast, Winnie the Pooh, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Lady and the Tramp, Mulan, 101 Dalmatians again, Pinocchio, and now Moana. This round of remakes did much better financially, and usually did alright critically. Despite that though, most people generally don't like them. While individual movies do have their fans, the general response to Disney remaking these classic animated films in live action, even though most of them don't need it, hasn't been great. So, why are they making them? The answer is basically what defines Disney recently. Money. These remakes act as a buffer, a surefire way to make sure they're still doing well financially every quarter. In between risks like Strange World and Elemental, they can make easy money with a Peter Pan remake. Relying on established franchises and characters allows for a guaranteed audience. We go to these movies to see if they're good. We expect them not to be, but we hope that they are. And when they're not, we go to the next one to see if it's any different. But why live action? Why hasn't Disney started making sequels to these movies? TV series, shorts, animated remakes? Why make something that looks like this, when the original looked like this? Why remake Moana, when everyone is still enjoying the original and asking for a sequel? I have a few theories. Continuing the story has higher potential. It's more of the original thing. We like the original thing, and so if the more of it is good, we're happy. But if it's not, it's a big letdown. In some cases, it can even retroactively ruin the original thing. Just ask Star Wars fans. A remake doesn't have as much potential to be great, but there's a lower chance of it being terrible. The music, characters, story have all already been beloved. But why live action? Well, if Disney announced that they were remaking Moana with the same cast, crew, music, and story in animation 7 years after it came out the first time, it would be abundantly clear that it was just a cash grab. By putting it in live action and adding a song or two, it makes it just different enough that people will go see it. Live action remakes give Disney the financial cushion of a recognizable property, while giving it just enough of a new coat of paint in order to get an audience. See, back in the 1940s, Disney re-released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in theaters to get more money out of an existing movie. This process continued until the 1980s, when movie re-releases were swapped out with VHS re-releases, so you could own your favorite movies. In between re-releases, the film went into the Disney Vault, meaning you couldn't buy it. By making it impossible to buy, Disney created artificial scarcity, and then artificial demand when it was suddenly available again. At the time, the reason for the re-release was because VHSs degrade over time. But when releases moved to DVDs that didn't degrade, the reason to buy new editions became because of different bonus features. Then, though, the introduction of YouTube and Disney Plus meant that those were obsolete as well. As YouTuber Yesterworld suggests, live-action remakes are just the newest version of Disney's strategy to get an influx of money without having to come up with an original story. So why is Disney remaking Moana? Because they've already remade all their other movies. Moana has a fan base, which means the Moana remake will likely have an audience, despite the fact that nobody actually wanted it in the first place. The remake will inevitably make a lot of money, and Disney will, hopefully, use that money on original projects that push boundaries, which will launch their own franchises. In the end, no matter what happens, Disney will keep getting just all the money. Nice.